time for the First Federal program on WROI Giant FM and streaming live on the First Federal Facebook page.
It is a beautiful Friday morning, 59 degrees. Yeah, it's dark out, but you know what? Evan, you brought us the nice weather this time.
I'm delivering.
Normally you're bringing us some cold weather.
That's still coming.
Eventually, yeah.
But you're not going to jinx me yet, Paul.
Not yet.
No, this should be another couple of good days of weather. Today's going to be beautiful again. It's been a nice week.
Yeah, and from what I was seeing, through the mid-60s all of next week, too.
That's awesome. A little different than we expect. We never cross our fingers a little bit this time of year.
Right.
So also, got to make sure you remember your clock changes this weekend.
Yes, that is happening. You got to go back in time an hour.
That's the one I like the best.
Yes, because I get an extra hour of sleep.
The spring one is not as fun after a long winter when you
Right.
have to shave off an hour. But so don't forget to do that on Saturday night before you go to bed. Nice now that you have cell phones that automatically adjust.
Yeah, but
If
you
they're
still have
working
to change some of the other clocks in the house.
Yeah, maybe the one on the stove or
The microwave.
yeah.
The
Does it
alarm
ever take you a
clock.
couple days before you get it changed, or do you get it right
Yes.
off?
Yes.
I wonder.
The last power outage we had, I still haven't reset the microwave, and that's been a couple months now. So
It's a badge of
you
honor
know.
at this point.
Yeah.
Stay with it as long as you can.
Yep.
Well, it's a busy month, November.
It is.
Election Day, Veterans Day coming up, Thanksgiving, Giving Tuesday. All good things coming up this month. I like November a lot.
I do too.
Hunting season. I'm not a hunter, but a lot
Right.
of people look forward to hunting season,
That
really
they
getting
do.
in the swing of things. I think that's this month. So, love it. Well, we got a great show this morning. We're going to have a really good interview. The Fulton County Bar Association here, our local lawyers group, and Goodwill of Michiana have a partnership that they do this time of year. I don't think they've done it for a couple of years, but in the past they have, so we're excited to find out a little bit more about that. It's a goodwill drive for a good cause, so we'll have some great information regarding that here a little bit later in the show. And got some good local trivia here this morning.
All right.
When was the last time Rochester won a sectional championship in football?
Oh, I actually know the answer to this one.
Okay, maybe we'll make Andy Perkins answer this. He's representing the Bar Association later this morning. Maybe he knows this answer. Of course, I don't think he went to Rochester High School, so this may be tough for him. Really stinger him on this one. Okay, you have four choices: 2000, 2005, 2010, and 2015.
Okay.
All of those have happened since I went to high school. So it's kind of making me feel old this morning. It's a nice November
Two of
morning.
those are when I was still in high school.
Okay, all right. Tanner, welcome.
Morning.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, always glad to be here on a Friday morning.
Maybe you can fill us in on some of the local sports that are happening this year.
Yeah, I'd be glad to. Rochester football, like we were talking about, they're still in action in November. First time we've been able to say that for a little while.
That's awesome. They've got
Yeah.
quite a ground attack this year.
They do. Alex Deming, I think 6th or 7th in the state in touchdowns.
Wow.
And he's a junior, so he'll be back next year. But yeah, Rochester, I mean, it's hard to believe you look at this program. This program 2 years ago won 0 games.
Yeah.
Wow.
2 years ago. And now they won 10 this year.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's a big turnaround.
Big turnaround, and the credit to players, the staff, Coach Ron Schaefer, done a really good job.
Yeah, football's kind of the ultimate team sport. You got to have good production
Yep.
at lots of positions to make the plays work.
Yep, and you get a good culture set, that helps too. And so they're 10-1 and hosting the sectional championship game tonight against Lafayette Central Catholic Knights, who are 8-3. Anybody that follows high school football relatively closely probably heard of Lafayette Central Catholic. They're pretty good year in, year out. They're not 1A, of course, anymore. They did so well at 1A for years, they got bumped up
Oh.
to 2A. So, they've been good with, the names of the Anthem brothers, who all three played either basketball or football at Purdue. They've had a lot of other good athletes basketball, baseball, and football, of course. So.
I noticed he only knows the 3 names of the kids who went to Purdue.
Well, yeah, it was around my time too when I was there, so that
A
helped.
couple IU players he's not naming. No, I'm just
There probably is.
I don't know.
But they're good at all sports. So it's gonna be a challenge for Rochester tonight, but it's gonna be a fun challenge.
Yeah, that's what we want.
That's what we want. And then if Rochester can win this game, they win the sectional title not only for the first time in X amount of years, but it'll be on Barnhart Field. It'll be at home too, which
that's
just
fun.
adds kind of gravy on top.
Should
of
be
it.
a great night to attend a local football game.
Yeah. Can't complain about the temperature for November 4th.
No.
It's going to be a little windy as the evening gets here.
That's okay for Rochester. They got the ground attack.
Yeah, that's good
all
football
right.
weather right there.
That's all right. Pre-game, same time as usual?
6:40.
6:40. So if you can't make it over there, make sure to put your radio on 92.1 Giant FM WROI. And Randy will have the call. Rochester girls basketball started their season last night. Hard to believe that
It is.
basketball season's here already.
Yeah, that's great.
It seems like it just ended not too long ago.
Yeah, I know.
But that's what happens when it comes back.
You're getting old too, Tanner.
I know I am. College basketball starts next week, which I was just talking to Randy. It's, now with the new transfer rule, it's hard to dictate who's going to be good in college basketball and who's not.
You almost have to wait a little bit
You
and
do.
see a few weeks in
You do.
who's coming
Who's
together.
going to gel? Because, take Illinois, for example. They look talented on paper, but they got about 7 to 8 newcomers.
Yeah,
And,
it's kind of a
Just don't know
question mark.
how it's
They
gonna
could
come
be
together.
really good,
Yeah.
or they might struggle.
yeah.
So does it come down more to coaching then? Do you think?
I think
with
so,
the transfer
especially
portal?
early on.
I think
Yeah.
so too.
You gotta make sure everybody's getting along.
Yeah.
Because you got a little tiff in the locker room, it can throw things sideways in a hurry. So
There's a lot of ego opportunities out there these days.
There are, but I think a lot of the in-state programs will be good this year in college basketball. Indiana's going to be pretty good. They return a lot. Purdue should be solid. They lost a lot last year. We've got some talented freshmen coming in. Notre Dame looks to pick up from a strong season last year, and then Butler, new coach Thad Matta, who's a big name around the college basketball world.
He's back.
So it should be exciting. Should be exciting this year. And college football is still going heavy. All 3 big state programs back in action this week. IU and Purdue had a bye week last week, and then Ball State played this week on Tuesday. So Notre Dame was the only big state program last week that had a game, and they weren't even at home.
Oh my
So
goodness.
there wasn't a whole lot going on college football-wise in the state of Indiana last weekend, but Purdue and Indiana, like I said, are back in action. Purdue hosts Iowa tomorrow. That's at noon on Fox Sports 1. Purdue's 3.5-point favorites. The weather makes me nervous as a Purdue fan. It looks like it's going to be rainy, and if not rainy, it's going to be very windy. And Purdue loves to pass the ball 50-plus times a game, so Iowa's offense is not a high-powered offense, so they won a low-scoring game. So that'll be an interesting one. This is one program that Jeff Brahms had really good success against. He's beaten them 4 out of the 5 years he's been there, for whatever reason.
Sounds like you're guaranteeing a win, Tanner. Good job.
I'm not, but I'm talking myself into it
We're
right now.
helping you right. That's good.
And the wind could help. If you throw the ball just right, that wind gust might just help it go the
Yeah, if you're
couple
downwind,
extra
it's going to
yards.
help, but against the wind, not so much, unless it's a crosswind.
Toss it high and watch it fly.
Yep.
Yep.
Let your receivers get under it. Indiana also is at home tomorrow. They host number 16 Penn State, who has a 6-2 record. Penn State's a 14-point favorite. That game is at 3:30 on ABC, so national game. So Hoosiers in the home stretch here. See if they can make a run at a bowl appearance.
Yeah, they
Won't be
need
easy.
They need a good moral victory against a good team.
Yeah.
Just to salvage the season. I think.
They still have Ohio State on the schedule
Yeah.
too. So.
Yep.
And then Notre Dame, huge opportunity for them tomorrow night at 7:30 on NBC. They host number 5 at 8-0, or number 4, I should say, 8-0 Clemson, who's 3.5-point favorite.
You know, kind of had a shaky start, but they're showing a
They're
little
coming together a
backbone
little
here
bit.
and there. So.
They've had 2 good road wins over ranked teams, North Carolina and Syracuse last week.
Yep,
So.
it's hard to know exactly what you've got there still, but
Yep.
they've shown some grit, so that's nice.
Yep, they got Clemson, and then they got USC to close the year in a couple weeks. So a couple opportunities for Marcus Freeman to get a really big win for himself. In NFL, we got Colts and Bears both in action, both on Sunday at 1 o'clock on CBS. So this is happening more and more for Colts and Bears fans.
Which game's going to be televised here?
Usually it's
for
the Bears.
RTC? Is it?
Usually it's the Bears.
Well, the good news is you can listen to the Colts radio.
Right. So you can do both at the same time.
Tune in at noon. We'll have pregame coverage, and we'll carry it until 6 o'clock during the postgame.
There you go. Colts are on the road in New England, who's a 5-point favorite.
Is that still a good rivalry, or has too much changed
I think
now?
too much has changed.
I think so too.
I was seeing on Twitter this week, there was a member of Indianapolis media said, it's New England week and nobody's even talking about the game. So, in the past when it was Brady and Manning, that was the talk a week before the game.
Sam and Mac doesn't have the same
Sam and Mac,
cachet.
Exactly.
Okay.
They have something to prove before they get there. And the Bears host the Dolphins, who've made a big trade this week, getting pass rusher Bradley Chubb for the Denver Broncos. Dolphins think they're all in this year to make a run at it, so Dolphins are 5-point favorites in that one. So should be interesting. In MLB playoffs, the Astros beat the Phillies last night to take a 3-2 game lead in that series. So Game 6 is tomorrow night. Game 7, if needed, will be Sunday.
I'm pulling for the National League in this one.
I think everybody is except the city of Houston.
We need a big comeback here.
Got some tidbits this morning. On this day in 1904, Paul, Harvard Stadium was the first stadium built specifically for football.
Really?
Yes. I meant to look up to see if they still use that stadium today, maybe with some renovations. It wouldn't shock me out of a university like Harvard to still have that stadium.
Yeah.
On this day in 1987, the NBA announced 4 new franchises: the Charlotte Hornets and Miami Heat for the 1988 season, and the Minnesota Timberwolves and Orlando Magic for the 1989 season. See, I never knew what the NBA was like without those teams, because I was born after that, so
I was too young to remember, so.
fair enough.
I remember Shaquille O'Neal getting drafted by the Magic,
Yeah,
and that kind of making them relevant.
He and Penny Hardaway kind of
Yeah.
made them pretty cool for a couple of years.
Yeah, and Charlotte had some interesting players too
Yeah.
at that time. So I don't remember much about the Timberwolves or the Heat.
Yeah.
I didn't know that's when they came into the
And of
league.
course, the Heat with LeBron James in the 2011 to 10 and 11 kind of made them popular.
Yeah, I think back then those two teams, it took a while to get
Yeah,
going.
I think you're right. On this day in 1996, the Spice Girls released their debut album, Spice. Went on to sell 23 million copies. Paul, were you one of those 23 million?
No.
No.
Still not one of those.
All right.
True confessions.
Yeah. I thought maybe in the vinyl collection.
No,
or something.
no, you will not find
All
it.
right.
96, that might be vinyl. Yeah, it's getting back there now. It's almost 30 years.
And being early Tuesday in November, there was a lot of presidential elections decided on this day in history. The last one being on this day in 2008, Barack Obama became the first African American to be elected president of the United States when he defeated John McCain.
Big historical moment.
So, and we got some national days, Paul. Today's National Candy Day.
I would have thought that would have been Monday.
Yeah, I know. It's also National Love Your Lawyer Day.
Ooh,
Hey. It is National Fountain Pen Day and National Use Your Common Sense Day.
Those all go together.
Yeah, those are all pretty good.
Those all mix pretty well. I think we have to fist bump Andy when he comes on there later.
I think so.
Okay, thank you, Tanner.
You're welcome.
Hey, I want to invite the community to the Rochester Kiwanis Club dinner. It's a turkey dinner that we have every year. Everyone knows about it probably, but that's coming up Monday. It's always the night before Election Day, so that's kind of fun. It's from 5 to 7 in the Rochester High School cafeteria, dine in or carry out, or both if you have 2 tickets.
Yeah, I do.
Take some home too. So great event. You can probably even come a little earlier for carry out if you want to try to beat the rush. We're usually ready to roll and generally serve 700 to 800 meals. So it's a good fundraiser. The money is used for local student scholarships for college mainly, and enjoy being part of that. So we invite the community to come support that and enjoy a good meal together.
And if you're doing carry out, make sure Evan brings you your food.
Thank you, Paul. Also, the Fulton County Animal Adoption Center is having an online silent auction starting on Thursday, November 17th. You can donate auction items. They'd like to have them by Monday, November 14th. So you got a little bit of time there. That's to raise money for some new cat condos and to also cover some extra veterinary bills. Money news. This has been the least exciting part of the
Yeah.
show for the last year.
Yeah.
Rough start in November for the markets. They had the best 4 weeks they'd had in quite a while, and then November 1st hits, and it shifted. Well, it shifted because the Federal Reserve Open Market Committee is still trying to do what they can to kind of shift the economy around and control inflation and demand for things a little bit by raising interest rates. So they met this week, and that was really what caused some of the change around in the markets. They did what everyone expected. They raised the rate 0.75%. It's their fourth 0.75% raise in a row, I think. So that's pretty unprecedented. And they gave a little guidance on kind of what they're looking to do in the future, and they still got quite a bit of work to do from what they can control. So we'll see how everything else comes together. It's a big swirling pot of things that affect that. So it's hard for any one thing to make the biggest difference all at once. Some time will be needed to help work things out. In terms of inflation. Patience is probably the word. So luckily we're very resilient and have had a good stretch here in our community and around the U.S. And part of why you can say that is employment's been excellent and low unemployment, open jobs. So it's really unique and interesting time in the economy. I think economists will look back in a few years and really enjoy studying this time period because there's a lot of unique things that have happened, and a lot of it's related to pandemic changes in the economy that have still had a lasting effect that'll get worked out eventually. Futures for today are down on the markets as there's a big October jobs report due that everyone's excited to see if those numbers come in as expected or not. And today, big headline, Twitter's firing half of their workforce.
Cleaning house.
Ouch. That's interesting.
And I know Paul and I were talking about this earlier this week with Elon Musk proposing this new $8 fee per month to get verified and get the blue check mark. I'm interested to see where that goes. A lot of pushback against that right now.
Yeah, that could change still in my mind.
Yeah, I think so too. If he does go with a fee, I could see it being lower than 8
Me too.
eventually, or if he is set in stone at 8, we'll see how long it lasts. I don't know. It's interesting.
I mean, it was $4.99.
Yeah.
And that was always optional. But
Right.
now it sounds like if you're gonna get the blue check mark, you've got to pay. At least it's down from 20 that he originally proposed.
That's true. That's true. But we'll see. I don't know. He's trying to push it as beneficial for content creators.
Yeah.
They can pop up on your feed more and things like that. I don't know. We'll see. So that's the way of social media, though, is going towards all content creation. I mean, Facebook's about ready to change their algorithm to where you're not going to see. You're probably going to miss more of your friends' updates than you'd like. You're going to see which friends get the most likes and views on things. And
these companies are under some pressure to make money.
They are.
Times are a little different than when they first came around, and there was a lot of support for growth companies like this, and now they've got some pressure to deliver some goods.
Yeah, TikTok kind of has shifted the narrative for social media, at least content creation, as of right now. That's why Facebook supposedly is going to change their algorithm, because they've tried to, throw in the roadblock there with Instagram and Reels and different things, and it hasn't taken off like they expected. So they want to try to get that user engagement back that TikTok's kind of taken away from Facebook. So we'll see. I don't know. It always changes. The world of social media is pretty fascinating.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of psychology involved
there is.
We'll discuss that on a future show.
Fair enough.
Well, thinking about First Federal this morning, we'd love to see you. We're open until 5 o'clock on Fridays and 8:30 to noon on Saturdays, so we've still got some time to come in and see us yet this week. And we'd love to find out how we could provide a valuable solution for you that could help you with your personal finances. You can always bank with us online. We've got a really great mobile app. It's free to download and use. You can download it and sign up at the same time. Of course, our ATM is well traveled. It's always open, and if you need some cash or you want to make a deposit, you can do both of those things. Right now we've got a 15-month CD special at 1.76% annual percentage yield, so come talk to us about that. Our Easy Access CD is also very popular. It's a 12-month CD, but you can make one withdrawal a month from it, and you can make as many deposits as you like. So that's really popular. So we can talk with you a little bit about that to give you some added flexibility and also earn some investment return. We offer Simply Free checking accounts, and for consumers like us, Paul, but also Simply Free business checking accounts. You know, like for the radio station or something.
Yeah.
And when you open a checking account right now, you get a free gift, and it's it's a brownie pan. I say individual because it's got individual squares for the brownies.
Good for Thanksgiving.
I think so. So you don't get the middle ones. You get
Yeah.
nice.
You get the edges on every one.
Yeah. So some people really like that.
Yep.
Interesting pan. You ought to come check it out. Of course, you get that for opening account or referring a friend that opens an account.
And you can do that online too.
That's excellent. We've got our new contactless debit cards. You can tap to pay with those now. They're really enjoyable to use, so I encourage you, if you got an old one, we can print you a new one at the bank and switch you out right on the spot if you'd like. Or you'll be getting one when yours comes up automatically over the next year.
Nice new look to them too.
Yep.
Yeah, whole new look compared to your current debit card. So.
And then don't forget about our November purchase special. If you're looking to buy a home, we've got a $900 discount off standard closing costs, and that does end at the end of the month. So there are a few more homes to check out. So get a look out there if you're thinking of moving before Christmas. We've got a little time. We'd love to help you out with that. We've been a home lending leader in our community since 1966, and we've got a lot of experience and can really help you through that process. We're the only locally owned bank in Fulton County. We don't want to be the biggest bank, just the best. Borrowers must meet underwriting guidelines. We are FDIC insured and an equal housing lender. Our NMLS number is 399927.
And that makes us legal.
That's right. Hey, we'd like to welcome our guests. Thanks for coming over here, guys. We've got Andy Perkins from the Fulton County Bar Association and Debie Coble. She's the president and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Michiana, Incorporated. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good to be here, Evan.
Thank you.
We've got a big event coming up, I believe tomorrow.
That's right. The Fulton County Bar Association has worked with Goodwill in the past. We took a hiatus for COVID, of course, in putting together a clothing drive. And this year it is tomorrow between 9 and 1. And the Bar Association was looking for a public service outlet. And normally it's lawyers getting together for lunch and also to share information about the local courts and the practice of law and share ideas about what we can do better. But one of the things that we realized several years ago is although we would make periodic donations to local groups, we didn't have our own kind of service outlet. And I was approached by Goodwill Industries of Michiana, and Debie and I were trying to think. I think we did that about 4 years before COVID.
Okay.
We were 4 or 5 years in, and then took a break for COVID. But they do a lot of the hard work and show us where to put things, so we don't put things in the wrong boxes and so forth and so on. But it's been a great opportunity. They have a great mission.
So you're talking about where to put things. The Bar Association members are actively
We're helping
working
with
the
intake.
drive up.
That's right. We're helping
Intake. That's a
pull
good word.
bags out of your trunk and offer you receipts and that type of thing.
Oh, that's a fun opportunity and neat partnership that you're discussing. Giving back and doing something on a volunteer basis.
Absolutely. And one of the things that there are a lot of things about Goodwill that I have to be reminded of, and one of the things is that they help people find jobs, and a lot of lawyers have business clothing. I've seen a few that wore suits a little too long. Should have gone to Goodwill a while
Tap
ago.
them on the shoulder, remind them
time-
of the date.
Time for that one to go. So it's nice to be able to see a continuity here.
Well, also this time of year, even in the business attire category, you have some seasonal items
Absolutely.
that you have to change out. So I don't know how you guys in the studio have been doing this at your houses, but we've been working on this seasonal change out here, it seems like, for quite a while, especially with the temperature bouncing around a lot. So it's a great time to just get frustrated and throw all those clothes in the trunk and head over to Goodwill.
Yeah.
People who are good at cleaning closets say, if you haven't worn it in a year, it's time. It's time.
I may not be as good as
I hear
those
you.
people, but
I
I
hear you.
should be.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a challenge this morning, Andy. I like it. It's maybe we can get a lot of business coming your way tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So what's the time again that you guys will be out there at the local Goodwill?
We'll be out there from 9 to 1. I think the local Goodwill opens at 8.
So, yes.
So some training for the first hour, probably.
That's right.
Until you're live
We
and
definitely need
in
it.
action.
For sure, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for that. Well, let's speak with Debbie for a minute. Thank you, Andy, for explaining the drive particulars. But we want to get a little bit more information about Goodwill of Michiana and some of the other services. I was checking out your website, and there's just a large variety of things that your company is doing, Debbie, in helping communities like our own that has a Goodwill that's associated with that. So we're speaking with Debie Coble again, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Michiana. Welcome to our show.
Thank you. Good to be here again.
That's right.
It's been a
Glad to
while.
have you back. This is probably the 5th one. We'll just claim it right now.
There you
There you
go.
go.
Sounds good.
So we're back to an annual event here. But tell us a little bit about this event and what it means to Goodwill, and then share a little bit about your company and some of the things that you're doing.
Absolutely. So this event is very important to us because the bloodline for Goodwill are those donations that people give us. And so while we do receive some funding, financial support from the community, from the government, those kinds of things, the lion's share of what pays for the services that we provide is the revenue from the stores. And a lot of people
Okay.
don't realize that.
Yeah, I don't know that I realized that.
Yes. And so, when you go thrifting, it's an art and there's a skill to it. And so one of the things that we try to do is make it as easy on our thrifters as we can. And that's why we spend the time on nice stores, organized stores, convenience for the drive-through, so that we can make it as easy for the community to help support us in the efforts to help our individuals in our community that are most at need.
That are receiving your services.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I can attest to the convenience of the drive-up. There's nothing faster in town than
Mhm.
bringing something and getting someone smiling and taking it off your hands, and it feels good both ways, I think, too.
Absolutely. And and our drive-through attendants work very hard, and we really stress to them the importance of that customer service. And a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are actually just getting back into the workforce or getting into the workforce. So that drive-through experience is also providing them the opportunity to learn customer service. And so I'd like to say we get it right 100% of the time. We don't. But still,
What a
it's
great
an
training
opportunity.
environment, though.
It
That is.
absolutely is. So we get some real good trainees tomorrow.
What do you think
So-
Andy's chances are on the customer service aspect?
Kathy, our store manager, said, I don't know. I've been here.
Remember to smile, Andy. That's
Yeah,
good.
and say thank you.
He's good at that. I have
Yeah.
a lot of confidence in him.
No, so tomorrow, if you're planning on donating anyways, absolutely do between 9 and 1 because you're going to have a lot of fun.
That would be
So,
fun.
absolutely. So,
Well, tell us a couple of the services that Goodwill of Michiana is providing to our local community.
so one of them is working with at youth risk.
Oh, wow.
Youth at risk, sorry, it's early on a Friday morning. And we, this is a service that doesn't get a lot of visibility, but we are a contractor with Work One. And so we get to provide the opportunity for youth who are at risk at not graduating through the Jobs for America graduate program. We run those in the local high schools.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
And yes, and so again, these are kids that are at risk that are not graduating. Their graduation rate for our JAG kids was 96% last year.
That's incredible.
So
Congratulations.
thank
That's,
you.
that's
I have a staff that is
Wow.
they are so passionate about this. But it goes beyond just getting that high school diploma. Because it's what are you going to do with it after that? And so we work with them, whether it's, we have some kids that go on into the military, we have some that go on into a higher education, some get into the trades, some just go to work, but really then it's helping them steer into that path beyond. And then we work with youth that are out of school too. Do they need to go back to school? They may be wandering a bit. How do we get them on that right path to move forward?
That's great. That sounds like kind of a custom thing, getting to know each kid
Yes,
and
absolutely.
developing a relationship. That's amazing.
So yes, it really is. Just about everything that we do, there's nothing that's cookie cutter because people aren't cookies.
That's right.
So they may be sweet, but they're not cookies.
I'm not sure, this is a great opportunity speaking with you this morning, Debbie. I'm not sure we know or correlate these things with our Goodwill store. We think of the donations, we think of shopping there.
Yes.
We like doing both of those things,
Mhm.
but the additional service and the attention is really incredible. I appreciate you sharing that this morning.
So another thing that we do right at the store is we are a large site for community service as well, which I don't think people realize.
No.
And so if folks are needing to do some community service, just because of the times that we are in now, we've had to modify how we do it, and so you do have to go through some hoops to get in there. But
Get
then
approved
again,
for it.
yes, we work with probation, parole, we work with the judges, those kinds of things. So if somebody needs to do it, we are one of the primary sites for people to come in, and it's a win-win. It gives us some extra on hands to help.
Yeah.
But it also gives individuals a safe place to be able to get that community service and to make a difference.
Well, I appreciate you sharing about some of these services. I encourage everyone to go onto your website.
Yes.
What is that website? Is that easy to rattle off here?
It is,
Okay.
goodwill-ni.org.
Okay. I visited that site recently and just really spent a lot more time on it than I expected, reading about a lot of the things that your organization is doing. And we just want to thank you for those things this morning.
Thank you.
Really appreciate you coming to our show this morning and helping promote the clothing drive, the partnership between the Fulton County Bar Association and Goodwill Industries of Michiana Incorporated.
We appreciate all you do down there. Thank you.
Tomorrow, 9 to 1.
Absolutely.
Scour your closets and your clothing bins, and let's make it happen tomorrow.
So we're gonna make you work on Monday and Andy work tomorrow.
But after you donate, then park your car and come in and shop.
That's
It's
a
the
great
whole
idea.
recycling thing.
Yes.
We kept over 14,000 tons out of landfill last year, so help us continue to do that.
You know, we're nothing if not great consumers, so we can do that. It's a good challenge, Debbie.
How many of that tonnage was the original Spice Girl on vinyl?
I think we have a market for that.
I'm going shopping for that. Okay, we do have our trivia question here. When was the last time Rochester won a sectional championship in football? Andy, do you have a guess? 2000, 2005, 2010, or 2015?
I'm going to guess 2005.
Okay, the answer is actually 2000. It's been even longer ago. That surprised me.
22 years.
Yeah, that really surprised me. That's a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a good feeling about tonight. We got a strong team.
And it's been 35 years since they did anything past sectional. Ah, see, I know.
This is the season. All right, well, let's end our show this morning. It's been a great show. Appreciate everyone's participation and our listeners this morning. We've got some words of wisdom from a former Israeli leader, Golda Meir. She said, "The dog that trots about finds a bone."
Those are great words of wisdom.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you again next week.
Have a great week.